Honolulu's prosecutor says the fatal police shooting of a man armed with a knife in Makaha back in January was justified.
Maroney was the initial aggressor. He ignored instructions to get off the road. He pulled out his knife. After getting hit with a taser, he kept charging Officer 1. And a few weeks before this happened, he told a woman at a park he knew that he wanted to do suicide by cop. And it's a tragedy that Mr. Maroney got killed, but him putting these officers in that position is inexcusable. They have to live. The fact that it's totally justified means Officer 1 still has to live with the fact that he killed somebody, that he ended somebody's life.
Now, during the incident on January 25th, police say the suspect lunged toward officers with the knife. A taser was deployed, but the man got back up and started to charge at Officer 1. Another officer fired his weapon, striking the suspect in the chest. Now, the officers involved had 23 and 16 years of service and were put on administrative leave, which is standard practice. No charges will be filed against them. We're going to have more on this story, plus the police body camera video coming up on later editions of HNN. President Trump is taking the first steps toward fulfilling his campaign promise of getting rid of the Department of Education. Now, at the same time, his administration continues to battle over an issue related to another campaign promise, and that's deportation flights. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
President Donald Trump is set to sign an executive order to begin the process of dismantling the Department of Education as he seeks to shift responsibilities to the states.
We don't need to be spending more than $3 trillion over the course of a few decades on a department that's clearly failing in its initial intention to educate our students.
The administration says services such as student loans and Pell Grants will remain at the Department of Education for now, but will eventually move to other agencies.
The Department of Education will be much smaller than it is today. As you know, the president's executive order directed Linda McMahon to greatly minimize the agencies.
But the president can't eliminate the department with a stroke of a pen. He'll need congressional approval to completely dissolve the agency. Shifting to immigration, the Trump administration continues its attacks on the federal judge who ordered a temporary halt to deportation flights of Venezuelan migrants after the president invoked a wartime law to deport them without due process. Judge James Boasberg ordered the Trump administration to explain why they did not adhere to his court ruling to turn around the planes deporting migrants the administration accused of being gang members.
Well, I found it remarkable that any district judge has the authority to overrule the president's executive orders. And what basically he wanted us to do is turn planes around in midair full of terrorists and bring them back into the United States, which is just ridiculous. And we didn't do it.
Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says he plans to propose legislation that would restrict a judge's ability to issue injunctions against Trump's agenda. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, Hawaii businesses are feeling the brunt of President Trump's new trade war. Hawaii's construction industry especially is feeling the strain of a new 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports. For China, it's up to 45% if you count the existing tariff from the Trump's first term.
Kind of sensitive to jumps in price of anything because projects are years and years out in planning. So like 6 years out, 3 years out, there's a bunch of calls to do, estimates, planning to do. So say one of your input goods goes up by like 10, 20%, multiply that by however many thousand times you have it, like a stud wall goes up like 20 cents, then multiply that by like a couple 100,000 over your project, and suddenly becomes not viable.
For the small homeowners, you know, they put up like $150,000 for a project renovation or build up additional, parts of their house. So they cannot delay forever. So it just have to, they may renegotiate a new terms based on the new price, or they have to pause.
Yesterday, the U.S. Central Bank cut its growth forecast for the country, saying Trump's new tariffs are clearly driving up prices. Experts advise businesses with pending construction projects to get them done quickly or wait until the economy stabilizes. A Hawaii Island grand jury indicted Silas Zion for allegedly driving the getaway truck for suspected cop shooter Christopher Lucretia last Friday in Hilo. The 23-year-old is being charged with being an accomplice to attempted murder, firearms offenses, and hindering prosecution. Lucretia was later killed during a shootout with police in Mountain View after a 3-day manhunt. He allegedly shot a police officer at a Hilo bank. Also on the Big Island, Richard Lopez has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for repeatedly stabbing his girlfriend while on vacation in South Kohala back in 2022. The 67-year-old from California was convicted of attempted manslaughter. That was reduced from attempted murder after the judge accepted that Lopez was suffering from extreme mental or emotional disturbance. HPD's chief apologized to the police commission for failing to inform the public that suspected gunmen were on the loose in Waikiki last weekend. HPD did not put out any public alert after 2 men fired shots on Kalakaua Avenue just before 10 Sunday night. It happened at the start of spring break, one of the busiest times for Waikiki. HPD has also released no further updates on the investigation.
This is terrifying. This is something that the community is talking about.
Our community is really shaken up, so they would love to know that things are safe and that our community is working hard to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
In this incident, I felt we fell short. They searched, were unable to locate any victims or any suspects. Everyone fled the scene in different directions. They found no indications of an active or ongoing threat.
The gunfire shattered several windows on Kalakaua Avenue and sent pedestrians running, but there were no reports of injuries. Meanwhile, despite efforts to recruit more officers, vacancies are actually increasing at HPD. Some worry that public safety is being compromised. Ben Gutierrez has reaction to this.
The Honolulu Police Department has 2,177 positions for police officers. As of the beginning of this month, only 1,722 of those positions were filled. That's a gap of 455. The Police Officers Union, CHOPO, says vacancies have surged by more than 40% in the past 4 years. And that means longer 911 response times, more cases per officer, and compromised safety for residents and police. It's why City Council member Andrea Tupola posted this video calling out the police chief.
I did write to the Police Commission that I believe that if we get over 475 vacancies, or over the next 6 months, if those vacancy numbers don't get down below 400, then I'm going to publicly ask for the chief to resign.
I take a little bit of offense to the fact that if you don't get it fixed in 6 months, then okay, go ask for my resignation. That's fine. I think that's a little disheartening from your own elected officials to say something like that.
Police Chief Joe Logan told the Police Commission that HPD has been trying to stem the flow of retirements and to increase recruits.
We are working, and the recruiting staff and the HR are doing their due diligence to do everything they can. But I can't stop something that's already started years ago.
The department now offers hiring bonuses of up to $25,000. The first class to get the incentives graduated last November. It's also in a program to recruit military personnel who are preparing to leave active duty. Right now, there are 89 recruits in different phases of training.
I'm throwing out a number because I actually think that 475 is ridiculous. We should have stopped this way back at 400.
HPD is also competing with other agencies. The State Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation says it has reduced its adult corrections officer vacancies from 30% to 24% by doubling the number of recruit classes. It also paid for a social media campaign and short videos in movie theaters. Tupola says HPD could have done more like that, but actually returned $45 million that it didn't spend last year, most of it in salaries for the vacant positions.
You got to ask yourself, hey, with $45 million, what could I do more to market this better?
Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
The Honolulu City Council passed Bill 61 yesterday, making it illegal to pop wheelies on public roadways using e-bikes, motorcycles, or mopeds. It's actually been illegal for e-bikes since the mayor signed Bill 52 last month, requiring that both wheels stay on the ground at all times. The new bill now goes to the mayor for his signature. A live look right now at Kilauea, which is now erupting again after sputtering off and on since about 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. Now, we've been watching this camera all day, and the lava fountains have been fluctuating in height pretty dramatically. This is episode 14 of the nearly 3-month-long eruption.
The storm system that brought us so much rain a couple of days ago is slowly weakening. We'll actually see more sunshine today for Kauai and Oahu mainly. Still going to be very cloudy for Maui County and for Hawaii Island. And there will be a few windward and Mauka showers throughout the day. We're not expecting a lot of rain. And those winds, though, they'll be running breezy at 15 to 20 miles an hour. Now, the current swell up in the country is on the way down. But another swell is due in tomorrow below advisory levels. A huge swell is due in on Sunday.
Thank you, Guy. Ahead on This Is Now, court documents unveil new details about the suspect accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in 2022. Plus this.
A list ranking the world's happiest countries is out. I'm Ian Lee with why researchers say the U.S. is a bit more miserable.
New court papers tell us more of what may have happened the night 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death in 2022. Prosecutors say a new selfie of the suspect will help a jury consider key testimony. Jonathan Vigliotti is following the case.
Prosecutors plan to introduce this selfie of Brian Kohberger. In court documents, they say it was taken on his phone about 6 hours after the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she not wake me up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
Prosecutors say a surviving housemate described seeing a man with bushy eyebrows inside the home the night of the murders, and the jury will need to decide if Kohberger matches that description.
All rise.
Kohberger's defense has argued that the witness's description is unreliable and could prejudice the jury. Kohberger is accused in the stabbing deaths of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mojan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin in their off-campus house. In another set of new documents, prosecutors allege Kohberger's Amazon account shows he purchased a K-bar knife and sheath months before the murders. The knife was never recovered, but investigators found a knife sheath similar to this image from Amazon at the crime scene. Prosecutors also presented this map illustrating the locations where Koberger's car was allegedly seen nearby on surveillance video the night of the murders.
I'm going to enter not guilty pleas.
The judge entered not guilty pleas on Koberger's behalf. A trial date is set for August. I'm Jonathan Vigliotti.
Israel hit new targets inside Gaza overnight, trying to force Hamas to surrender. Now, it's the third night of attacks since the ceasefire was broken. Remy Inocencio has the latest from Tel Aviv and a warning: the video you're about to see is graphic.
Waves of Israeli airstrikes killed dozens of Gazans, according to 3 hospitals up and down the Strip, for a third straight night since the ceasefire was shattered. Body after body loaded onto ambulances and carts in the north, barely functioning hospitals inundated with the wounded, wards filling up with the dead. Israel's military said it has restarted ground operations in central Gaza, retaking a key corridor dividing the north and south of the Strip, warning Gazans to evacuate areas turning into combat zones. Around 500 people have reportedly been killed since Israel's shock airstrikes before dawn Tuesday. More than 100 of those believed to be children. That number rising this morning as desperate survivors find bodies in the rubble of devastated homes. These men working by hand to retrieve this little boy.
They can't take being thrown 50 feet out of a concrete building or having a concrete building fall on top of them. The level of carnage is indescribable.
American doctor Mark Perlmutter is volunteering at Gaza's Al-Aqsa Hospital.
Open abdominal wounds, open head wounds. There's children with their brains exposed. This doesn't have to exist.
And Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, has a message for all of Gaza to return the hostages and expel Hamas, the alternative being total destruction and devastation. However, collective punishment, that is a violation of the Geneva Conventions and deemed a war crime. Remy Inocencio, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Happy first day of spring. Guy's going to have your full forecast in 2 minutes.
aloha on this Thursday. We'll start to see more sunshine today for the west end of the state. Still going to be very cloudy for the east end of the state. Now, the storm system that brought us so much rain a couple of days ago is weakening, so we won't see a lot of rain, but there will be some scattered showers today. Make no mistake about that. And also, the winds will remain running at breezy levels. They'll be picking up to about 15 to 20, especially windy over in Maui County. So we're in for a pleasant day, but again, depends upon where you are. If you're on the east end of the state, it's going to be cloudy from Maui County to Hawaii Island. For Oahu and for Kauai, we'll see more sunshine today, and those winds will run pretty swift at 15 to 20. All in all, a pretty pleasant day. Now, as far as the surf, the swell is on the way down, the current one. We're expecting a small pulse coming into north and west shores tomorrow, more of a westerly direction. That should keep the fun going. But a big, huge northwest swell is due in on Sunday. It could get up to high surf warning levels. So this is what we're looking at for the next 7 days. The weather's going to change. Today, by the way, is the first day of spring. Pleasant conditions with those breezy winds, and those breezy winds will continue through tomorrow. And then over the weekend, because of an approaching front, the winds will slow down. It's going to be a little more sticky. We'll still see some sunshine, but there will also be those windward and Mauka showers. Now, we're expecting more showers, more widespread showers, as well as cloudier skies between Tuesday and Wednesday. So heads up on that. But until then, especially for this first day of spring, the weather looks pretty nice.
Thank you, Guy. Well, today is World Happiness Day, and a new list ranks countries where people are the happiest. Spoiler alert, the U.S. did not even make the top 25. Ian Lee has more.
If you're happy and you know it, you probably live in Finland.
It's clean and the air is fresh, and yeah, what's there not to love?
For the 8th year in a row, the Nordic nation took the top spot in the annual rankings of the world's happiest countries.
People trust each other in Finland.
The Oxford University-led study looked at social support, income, health, freedom, generosity, and lack of corruption. Researchers measured trust in strangers by deliberately ditching wallets and tracking how many were handed in.
It turns out wallets are returned twice as often as people think, or more.
Last year, researchers asked folks in 143 countries to rank their happiness from 0 to 10 and discovered some sad news for the U.S. America dropped to 24th place, its lowest level since the report was launched in 2012.
We picked this up in the negative emotions around anxiety, worry, stress. Around the world, the degree that people worry has increased extraordinarily.
A big factor for America's decline is loneliness, with about 1 in 4 people eating by themselves. Researchers found frequently sharing meals was strongly linked to well-being around the globe.
I mean, 1 gin and tonic in the evening and I'm happy. 2, my happiness is complete.
Oh, there you go. Breaking bread with family and friends and colleagues, it just boosts that inner happiness.
Cheers, everybody.
Showing the secret to happiness may be found in one another. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Still to come, March Madness is here. How are your brackets doing? Casey Lunn shows us what businesses are showing the games bright and early. right, it's time for some good news now. And who doesn't love free stuff? Well, happening today, free ice cream. It's free cone day at Dairy Queen. And to celebrate the first day of spring, the burger chain is offering a free small vanilla soft serve cone at participating locations. This sweet deal only happening today, so go and get yourself a sweet, tasty reward. And it's that wonderful time of year. March Madness is underway. And if you're looking for somewhere to watch the basketball games, especially those early morning ones, Casey Lund has the scoop in Waikiki.
Yeah, you might think that there aren't places open for those early morning games happening on the mainland, but that's just not true. We're here at Skybox Tap House. I'm with Anaya behind the bar, and then I've got Alan as well. Anaya, this is not a bad place to work.
Absolutely not. I love working here, and I can't complain about the view.
I know. Why don't we actually show people the view? This is one of my favorite places to come in Waikiki because, you know, you get obviously all the visitors that are here, our wonderful visitors that keep our economy going, but there's also a mix of just local people because this is an international marketplace. They validate parking. It's really easy to access. It's a huge space, and more importantly, Alan, you've got beer towers now.
Can't go wrong with beer towers. And it helps that we are locally owned. So our owners are Alan Farinas, born and raised here, and you know, his wife Mayu, and they're in here every single day working just as hard as the rest of us. Yeah. But you're right, it's nice to come in the morning and just kind of like remind yourself, you know, how nice it is to work here.
Yeah, and we want to also mention, we love Alan, we love Shorefire just over across the way here in International Marketplace. Tell me a little bit about what is happening just for the tournament, like all those big games, football games, whatever it may be. You guys adjust your hours to make sure you can accommodate, give people a place to watch, right? Tell us what's happening for the tournament.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, you know, if you know the tournament, a lot of the games and times aren't even determined yet. Yeah. So we know today, we know tomorrow, we'll be open at 7 a.m. Saturday, we don't even know yet, but whatever the earliest game is, we're going to be open for it. Our awesome bar staff like Anaya, we have Molly tomorrow, but JK on the weekends, they're coming in early, opening up the kitchen a little bit early so that all of our sports fans have a place to go watch the game.
But we both picked the first game of the tournament was Creighton and Louisville. It's over now, but we both picked wrong.
We did, but luckily it's the round of 32,
it's
so
true.
that's you can't lose the Elite 8 and the Sweet 16.
And speaking of which, you guys have give away some prizes for bracket challenge, right?
100%. So we're just having a fun bracket contest. Come down, fill out your bracket. You can win a Bud Light recliner. You can win $300 cash, VIP section at Fire by Night, and a $100 gift card to Shorefire.
All kinds of stuff. If you missed any of that, details online at hawaiinews.com for their hours, which again are going to vary depending on what games are happening. Come say hi to Anaya. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining us.
We'll send things back into the studio for now. Aloha.
Thank you so much, Case. And if you are watching those games, but it's not, you know, entertaining for you, you can always look at the USGS live stream here of Kilauea Volcano, which is going off right now. Again, this is episode 14 of the eruption. It's really cool. Thanks for watching. This is Now, everybody. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL.